Hi guys, I'm Zach,
I'm Laura.
and you are listening to
Articulate Warbling.
Indeed, a podcast that's also a video.
Today we're going to be reviewing Doctor Strange in the MultiVerse of Madness.
Every night.
Shall I go ahead with the synopsis?
Yes.
It's quite a short one, but kind of sums it up pretty well. So, Dr. Stephen Strange casts a forbidden spell that opens a portal to the multiverse. However, a threat emerges that may be too big for his team to handle.
He doesn't know, that's lies.
It is lies, he never casts a spell.
No. Because it's kind of like, but every moment of this movie is a spoiler really, in like what happens narratively, kind of. So yeah.
Hang on a minute.
Forewarning, it is going to be a spoiler-filled
Let me see if this is
review.
Spoilers ahead. If you haven't seen the film, watch it, loathe it, partially like it, hate it, whatever, just don't bitch to me about spoilers.
Already done a review on my lonesome because I had to get it off my chest. Laura fell asleep. I had a lot to say, but I think it's interesting to go in for a second viewing because you don't really get reviewers and critics, not that I classify myself as that, I'm just a film nerd that warbles, to get
I have a better synopsis, Karen.
what would you call it, a different take? Because you see a movie, then straight after, whether it's a day or even a week, those initial first thoughts are there, you spout them, and then upon rewatch, your feelings can completely change. Like The Invisible Man, for example. We left that movie because the audience could behave themselves. And yeah, so anyway, a better one.
To restore a world where everything is changing, Strange seeks help from his ally Wong, the Sorcerer Supreme, and the Avengers' most powerful Scarlet Witch, Wanda. But a terrible threat looms over humanity and the entire universe that no longer can be done by their power alone. Even more surprising, the greatest threat in the universe looks exactly like Doctor Strange.
And Wanda.
And Wanda.
Wanda's the villain. This is it. She's the villain. We kind of all got that from the trailers. I think they were trying to hide it in the trailers. It was a bit apparent that she was going to go full Scarlet Witch. Yeah. Aside from WandaVision, Loki, Laura isn't coming at this as a loyalist to Marvel. Nope. An affinity to directors, and I think this is always so interesting on this podcast. She doesn't come to these movies with any baggage, with any preconceived notions, with not a gluttony's worth of, like me, opinion, insight, and just nerdery. She goes in and judges it based upon that view and experience. Gathered, you've watched Doctor Strange, you've watched some Marvel films, you don't approach this movie as a Marvel fan, you just approach it as a film.
I don't really consider myself to be a Marvel fan.
No.
So, I can't really approach any Marvel film as a Marvel fan. Holy shit.
Yeah, sorry, I just noticed you had hairy armpits.
Yeah, I know, and I've just looked, it's because you looked, I was like, whoa! Yeah, so I think because I'm not a Marvel fan, and there aren't many Marvel movies that I can really genuinely rate, I can't really say that I'm a fan.
But you did like the first Doctor Strange.
I did.
Yeah. You do like Benedict Cumberbatch as Stephen Strange.
I love Cucumber Patch.
I love his cucumber patch too. So...
You like his pubic area?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Bleach blonde down there.
So the carpets really don't match the drapes?
No.
Then? Interesting.
Anyway, I've said a lot. I'm more interested in your takes, your opinions, what stood out, what worked, what didn't work. As a movie, was it good?
It depends how you look at it. If you try and take this movie seriously, then no, it's bad.
Yeah.
It's really, really, really bad. If you...
Its tonality is different from the first, you agree with that?
Yeah. If you can walk in and just be like... And you need the forewarning. You need the forewarning to go in and be like... This is like a piss take.
It's a cartoon, yeah.
If you can go in and look at it like that, it is an amazing film. It's funny. It's... But it is, some of the jokes in there are like, they're so bad they're good. But that's what I mean. If you try and take it too seriously, you're like, ha. Yeah. But if you try not to take it seriously and you just go in and you're just like, that's actually really bad, but actually really quite funny.
It's so bad, it's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, some of the visual effects felt not right. I'm no visual effects expert nor artist, but yeah.
Me neither, but I sure harp on about it enough.
I know, but I don't know enough of it really to be able to articulate exactly what I'm trying to say
That's
or how
why
I
the
felt.
warble comes in, baby, because you just warble.
Yeah, but we like to keep these short. Well, I like to keep these short. Yeah, I could tell that the visual effects were maybe a little rushed or just not up to normal standard. Things were, to quote my darling Zach, who said this word about 20 times during the film, and actually became more annoying than the couple next to me, it was a little shonky. Because it was, at times, shonky. But, like I say, if you try and take it seriously, then yeah, the shonky is annoying. If you try and take it as a joke, the shonky becomes less annoying and just makes it kind of more comedic.
Yeah.
It does totally depend. You know, if you're going in thinking this is a serious film and that you take it as a serious film, then you're going to come out disappointed.
Yeah. Well, there is a element of seriousness juxtaposed with an imbuement of, you know, lightheartedness to Marvel. It's flowery, like you've said.
Yeah, it is flowery, but I think, I mean, the first time...
This is the darkest Marvel film, though, I feel.
Yeah, the first time I watched this, as you mentioned, I fell asleep. And just to be clear, I did not fall asleep at the very beginning. I fell asleep probably about an hour in. So I kind of saw all the lead-up story and then missed all of the action.
Pretty much. And you said
then,
you said coming out, how the fuck did I sleep through that? Because it's a noisy
so loud.
film.
It's so loud. And I was like, how in the fuck did I actually manage to sleep through that? But we were in a quiet and very well-behaved cinema the first time.
Yes, we were.
I had just driven all weekend.
Yep.
And was absolutely exhausted.
Yeah. I had a sense that you no, I can do it. I had a weird
Well, I thought I
sense.
could though, because I was like really up for it, and then I was just like, I can't get my
First
eyes
of all,
open.
you weren't excited for this movie. Then you watched the first film and you're like, okay, I get it.
I wanted to watch it because I'd seen the first one and was like, now I have to watch it.
And you enjoyed
But I didn't
Cumberbatch from... Oh, what was the recent one? Spider-Man No Way Home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I began to have more of an affinity with the character, so felt that it would be more worth my while watching it. I think because the trailer makes it look like a serious film, the trailer's shit.
Super somber and...
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when you look at it, you think that looks shit. But actually, you have to take it in a different light.
Yeah.
So yeah, the first time I fell asleep, so unfortunately I actually woke up for the last 10-15 minutes. So basically the whole thing was ruined for me.
Yeah.
Because I'd missed all of the back and forth action and then saw the ending.
You literally woke up for... Your John Krasinski Spider Sense came out and you're like, oh my god, John Krasinski!
No, I got up to that bit. I got further than that bit before I fell asleep.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. So yeah, that was kind of ruined. But the second time watching, having actually seen it all wide awake, I specifically went for a nap before we went out.
Yes. And you had a cup of coffee before we went out as well.
I did. Having done all of that, I was able to watch the film and I was very emotional at the end. I won't give away, you know, what it was because it is still a very sort of new film. But...
Spoiler warning, give it away.
When Wanda faces her children that do/don't exist, and they're screaming like, "You're not my mum," and she's devastated, and she watches them run away from her.
Yeah, I get it.
I had tears in my eyes. I felt really invested in that storyline, in that whole thing.
You look like our mother. It doesn't matter. Your actions are not of our mother.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
that speaks dividends.
Exactly. So
all of that character development you actually felt from having not even watched WandaVision. That's something that I feel needs to be highlighted.
Yeah, I've never seen WandaVision.
You've not seen WandaVision. You haven't got.
I have no. All I know is that I know that Wanda exists. I've heard of WandaVision, but I've never seen a trailer, never seen a sneak peek of anything, never seen clips of anything, nothing.
You really like it, I think.
I'm really, really naive to everything that's gone on there, except for the short sort of synopsis that you gave
and
me.
expositional dialogue that has to be provided. Because otherwise, any novice is just going to be like... I think some people
Well, yes and no,
do need
because
that
they do
insight.
explain it.
Well, I think the clever thing that Michael Waldron and Sam Raimi did, and this is only appreciated on second viewing, we're not here to do that. We're here to make our own film.
Yeah.
So that we've got all this emotion and all this weight, and those creators put it in a certain direction. But for our movie, we can't be beholden to it.
Yeah.
We need to tailor this to fit our film.
But when you think, because I was just thinking, because my mum went to see this last night.
Oh, she saw it?
Yeah, she really, really enjoyed it. And I was sitting there thinking, well, how is she not confused? But the thing is it is explained, although not in dialogue.
They go
that
into the...
Vision has died.
Yeah.
And that her children are magic. She's created them through magic.
And through magic, it's had a ripple effect in the sense of it's now a known thing in other multiverses.
Yeah, so you don't have to have seen anything to actually understand. The only thing which you didn't understand, and it wasn't until the second time I watched it did I realise what she said, is when she mentioned Vision and she called him Viz.
Yeah.
Now, you didn't tell me that his nickname, so to speak, was Viz, or he
No, that
was
was the
known
first
as
time
Viz.
she's ever...
Oh, okay. Well, but that was a little bit confusing, because
Yeah.
I'm like, are you, Viz? Oh, Vision.
Yeah,
like, duh.
Yeah.
But I don't know that because I'm not.
Yeah.
But then again, maybe you don't know that because that's not been mentioned before. I don't know.
That's the first time I've heard her, from recollection, that she's referred to him as Viz.
Well,
People have
anyway.
complained that Viz should exist in other multiverses, but that's not the story they're telling. And I think it's kind of ballsy for Michael Waldron and Sam Raimi to go, we are not continuing WandaVision, we are making our film.
I
and
do
this
get
movie
that.
was meant to be... everyone's gone in, and I was one of them, expecting it to be this big, all stakes, this movie, it's multiverse. So many connotations, so many opportunities. I went in expecting this huge thing that's going to have ripple effects. It really doesn't. It's its own contained thing, and I think that's quite right.
Yeah, I mean, I think I've got one problem and then a counter to the problem.
Okay.
And that is that in, spoiler alert, in other universes, multiverses, in other universes within the multiverse, Strange is dead. Mm-hmm. But that doesn't make him dead in all universes within the multiverse. But... so therefore that confuses me in the fact that why isn't Vision in other universes within the multiverse?
Or maybe there's others and they haven't...
Hang on. Because, yes, maybe, but because he's dead in one doesn't mean he should be dead in others. But the children are magical, they're created from magic, and I think the only reason why they're in the other multiverses, the other universes within the multiverse, is
dead.
because Vision's dead,
Yeah.
and because Wanda created them because Vision's dead. So,
Yes!
See?
Yes!
It both makes sense and doesn't make
Yeah!
sense in the same
No
fucking
one's brought
statement.
that up!
Thank you. I'm smart.
No one's brought that up!
But that's the reason why those
That's a
children
crutch.
exist.
That's why they existed to begin with, pretty much.
Exactly.
She was in denial, and I'm not going to give much away for WandaVision for you, but she manipulates reality. She manipulates things for her own end,
Yeah.
and she does.
So it's like the magic has almost backfired, because maybe if she hadn't have done that, Viz would be alive in other universes within the
I think
multiverse. But
that's-
because she's done
I
that,
think that is something, because modern audiences and the Marvel fans haven't cottoned on to that. Maybe, and I'm one of them. We haven't really given it its due diligence.
think about it like this, and I know it's not the same, but think about Harry Potter when you use the time turner.
Yeah.
That Professor Dumbledore says to Hermione, "Don't let yourself see yourself because it will fuck everything up." That was a non-PG version of that scene. But that's the same thing. Yeah. She has done something in magic to create something that is effectively gone wrong in every universe within the multiverse.
Yeah. Yeah. I like the moral ambiguity of, and they say it to her as a character, they say, is it not enough to know that they're happy in other universes? Yeah. They are a family. Yeah. And she's like, no, I fucking want this. I mean, she faces that reality. And then this tender moment where Wanda, from another universe, what do they call it? Night walking?
No, dreamwalking.
Dreamwalking, where they can't go into other multiverses, but if you have the power and the knowledge from the Darkhold, you can translate your consciousness into a different multiverse self. So she takes what we take as a dedicated mother, good Wanda, a good, the Wanda that she's striving to be, and abuses her. But at the end of it, because Wanda's Wanda. She understands it, and that tender moment between the both. And this is bloody Elizabeth Olsen playing off herself.
I know.
Oh my god.
She's incredible. She's absolutely.
There's been
incredible.
complaints about the deviations of a character from WandaVision to this. I was one of them. You know what? I don't care because it's what suits this story. It also does something clever with the cameos, with this big Illuminati. It's kind of like the sequence in Deadpool 2 where we're introduced to the X-Force. We're like, oh my god, we're getting the X-Force. These mutant, and then they get killed within seconds.
Yeah.
But in Deadpool 2, he then goes back in time and saves them, so it basically calmed the fans down. They don't do that here. It's like, no, in this multiverse, she fucks them all up. She kills them.
You can't see me rolling my eyes right now, but I'm rolling my eyes because we're still in this thing of having to reverse something because a fan doesn't like it.
Yeah.
And that annoys me.
Even within the same film.
Own it. Own it. If you're going to make a film, and that's the story you've gone with, that's the story you've pitched.
And that's what they've done with Vision, I feel. They're like, we've brought him back too many times now from the dead. Let's leave him dead for this moment.
If they'd brought him alive, it would have taken all of the emotion that I did feel for Wanda.
It's almost
away.
because she has someone there for her to sympathise and empathise. And there is a version of Vision still existing, but he isn't the Vision we know. He hasn't got an affinity with Wanda. He is literally a bad, all-powerful robot who gets imbued with some essence of him, but he goes off and fucks off. He's a bit like the creators. He's like, I'm not loyal to your timeline, fuck off! And he just flies away.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, but you're meant to be Vision. He's like, nah, I ain't playing it. It's, yeah. So there is some clever writing. I do feel that if they stayed in one certain multiverse, the whole movie would have been 90 minutes of exposition. I do feel sometimes it should have been called Doctor Strange in the multiverse of exposition, but you need to do it.
Yeah.
They also reshot at least 58% of this film about 4 months ago.
Yeah.
Big action sequences, because everything, the timeline of this was meant to come out before Spider-Man No Way Home, about a year and a half before No Way Home. I mean, because of COVID and the original director left, it left a gap, and they went, we can't do it. This was a rush. And Sam Raimi, and he has been pre-avowedly apologising. He hasn't been apologising in a sense of, I think the film's shit. He's really proud of it. But he's like, we were against every form. We were against a studio that didn't care, because Marvel doesn't really have the rights to Spider-Man. It's all Sony. So Sony's like, we're putting out our Spider-Man film, and guess what? It's all multiversal. And then Marvel's like, you cunts.
Yeah.
Okay, do it. We'll use this as a foundation to start Phase 4, which is a whole other area of it, to tell a new, big, broader story. So they were stuck between a rock and a hard place. And you know what? On second viewing, I'm sitting there on the second viewing, and all the way through it, I'm like, I'm hating this, because I was sat telling myself, you should be hating this.
I know, you were driving me nuts.
And then I just was like,
You gave in eventually.
it's not that bad. Raimi is notoriously kooky. Sometimes Raimi is his worst enemy, but no one can deny that his fucking camera angles, his whip pans, what he does visually, and his goofy horror side of things, what he does with horror is always elevated. Sam Raimi basically created the norm of wacky horror, where it's like, I don't really want to scare you. I want you to be a bit like, but also, yeah!
There were some jumps in there that didn't make me jump, but I still had that heart in my throat. What's going to happen? Felt like I was going to jump, but then I didn't.
Yeah.
And I liked that because you just got me tense as fuck.
Yeah.
But you didn't get the jump out of me that actually I didn't want to have. And I liked that. I really appreciated that. I mean, yeah, look, I don't think there's a huge amount else for me to kind of pick on, but I am going to give it 4 stars.
Fair dues.
Because...
What did I give it originally? 2? Yeah, I gave it 2. Mine has changed, and it's to 3. So I will meet you on 4 overall. Because...
I mean, you don't have to.
No, but there's enough of an argument that you made that I am going to get this on Blu-ray straight away after. I'm getting this on Blu-ray.
I mean, I'm sitting there going, I know you're going to get it on Blu-ray, and I kind of want it on Blu-ray, but now I'm like, no, I won't, because obviously we're going to end up...
Yeah. I want it on Blu-ray. I hope that Sam Raimi does a commentary, and Sam Raimi said there's at least like 15 minutes worth of deleted scenes.
Yeah.
And stuff like, you know, it's like...
I think the thing that takes it away from 5 stars is the fact that it is shonky and that some of those jokes are bad to start with. You can have good jokes and you can have bad jokes and you can have bad jokes
Before
that are
the
good.
premiere of this, they completed, you know, as best they can, a visual effects shot 15 minutes before premiere. This is showing you how fucking, like,
yeah.
that they got.
Yeah.
And, you know...
It's pretty impressive for that tighter time scale.
Yeah. I love the practical effects. I love that he went for the more practical effects with the zombified Strange, which is... I love it. Just the look of it and the use of him. It's fucking hilarious. Also, the physicality in that performance from Benedict.
Yeah.
Like, all stiff and fucking... But he's still trying his hardest. It's...
It was good.
America Chavez is a character that was done relatively well, but quite poorly in the same note.
Chavez.
It's played by Societal Chipotle sauce. Chipotle sauce. She the whole tick listing of the lesbian parents, it's in the comics, it's so more fleshed out.
Sorry, I remembered because you said her name is said as Social.
Yeah. And the whole notion that she opened up a universe because she was scared of a bee is pretty redonkulous, but...
I don't think it is. Do you have any idea how scared of bees I am?
Yeah.
That's not enough. For a child that young to be scared of bees, I think is pretty realistic. And it does bring a certain amount of terror into a child. I have to agree to disagree on that one.
Okay, well, I'll give you that, but I won't agree. But, yes, I'm eating my hat. There's enough Raimi-isms in it for me to go, this is really brave on Kevin Feige and Marvel's behalf. He came in late. He said, I'm starting from the beginning. The script you have, I don't believe in it. And they were like, do it then. Do what you can, but you need to fit in within the parameters of what we want with Marvel. And do you know why this respect comes from? Kevin Feige cut his teeth on the Spider-Man films. He was a production assistant on Sam Raimi films. From a production assistant to one of the biggest studio bosses and producers out there, and then he's gone, Sam hasn't made a movie in 9 years. Sam Raimi introduced the superhero genre to the heights that, you know, set a trend with Spider-Man and Spider-Man 2, and he was like, Sam, are you busy? And Sam's like, oh no, I haven't done anything in 9 years. He's like, do you want to make this? And he's a big Doctor Strange fan. I hope for the next one they get more time.
Yeah.
More time to work out the kinks.
I think COVID has fucked a lot of films.
Yeah.
A lot of filmmaking, and I think, you know, we shouldn't...
Underestimate.
That's it. We shouldn't underestimate the...
Parameters.
The effect that COVID has had.
Yeah.
And that actually future films are likely to get better because COVID hasn't... Because it becomes a rush.
Yeah.
It becomes a... We need to make money. We need to get these films out because the fans are begging for them. We need to get people back into cinema. We need to save cinema.
Yeah.
All of these things are putting a lot of pressure on filmmakers, and it is... I do feel that we're...
Well, I get a sense... Well, I watched the latest Jurassic World Dominion trailer, and that shot where all of them are together, you're like, they're not actually together on set there.
No. That's what I mean. I really don't think we should underestimate what COVID has done, because it has affected a lot, and I do think that at the moment, and maybe that's why I can see films slightly better than perhaps you feel at the moment, because what I can see is desperation, because they're just desperate to get a film out, they're desperate to get the next thing out.
Considering that
because of COVID.
the past Marvel films that we've gotten have been underwhelming, unimpressive, and just duds. And I think they really weighed in on this, like, it's out, and like coming off the end of Eternals, we walked out of that. I understand why they were like, we need to refilm stuff, we need to energise this movie, we need to give the fans what they want, because what we've done so far hasn't worked, not enough. The box office is saying as much.
Yeah, exactly.
It's Spider-Man No Way Home, 1 billion. This has got like 600 almost in about a week and a bit.
Yeah.
It's very telling. The future of cinema is always going to be superhero movies. It's always going to be. I'm going to be very excited. I know it sounds weird me saying this. I'm excited to see what happens with Avatar 2. will that change the landscape again, or are people interested?
Yeah.
What did you gauge from the audience, a big audience, when that trailer came on? I got nothing. It was like people were like,
what is this?
But the smaller screen, there was that atmosphere. You felt that people who were there knew it was coming, and they appreciated it. That big mass audience, they were like, "What the fuck is this blue film? What?" And then one girl laughed.
People don't remember what Avatar is, though. It's the only reason why I know what Avatar is because I watched it at home with my dad, and we used to watch it over and over and over. When my dad liked to film, we used to watch. There were only a select few films. Ocean's 11 was one of them.
Oh, holy shit!
Yeah, that's why I won't ever watch the Ocean's
I've never watched
films.
that all the way through.
It just goes on and on, because he used to have his select films that he really loved, and they would be on every weekend. That's the only reason why I, at the age of 24, nearly 25, remember Avatar.
Yeah.
I never saw it at the cinema.
No.
My mum went to go and see it at the cinema.
I saw it in the cinemas, and there was literally like 2 other people there.
But that's what I mean. People will not remember it. People my age, and certainly people younger, will not remember it.
Have they left it too long?
Yeah, they absolutely have.
Well, they've had to throw out the whole non-3D glasses thing, and they said, look, you've been sitting on this movie too long now. We need to get it out. People can't afford 3D films as it is. How are you expecting them to afford to see a non-3D glasses?
It's not going to happen. And I think...
And they've got 2 other films shot, but their fate isn't...
No. I think the thing is it has been too long. It has been far too long. Even I said, watching the trailer, I can't get excited because I can't remember which character's who, because it's been so fucking long.
Well, that's why you need to get I need to get you the Blu-ray.
People aren't going to do that. They want to see a film because they remember seeing it a few years ago.
They're putting it back out on screens about 2 months before release in hope to kind of... I think because of Disney Plus now, it's on there, it's just recently been put on. I think people are going to go... Blue people!
Yeah, isn't that something to do with the new trailer? Yeah, I mean, that could go in their favour, but I think, in general, it has been too long. I'd be interested to see it in the cinema, because I never did.
I mean, I'd say see Avatar. The thing with James Cameron, his films are made to be experienced in cinema.
Do you know if they're doing it in 3D or whether they're doing it
3D and 2D re-releases?
I mean, I've seen it 100 times in 2D, but
I saw it in 3D, and the 3D was immense because it was James Cameron going.
That's what I heard.
It was. This movie's made for 3D. Sam Raimi has said this about Doctor Strange too, and I've always, because of my initial opinions, and then other reviewers are like, "There's 3 moments," but I don't. You just never know. 3D has died. So maybe this might usher in 3D again, I don't know, because it's being used appropriately.
That's what I remember 3D being huge when Avatar came out.
Yeah, not 2009, 2010.
It was that thing of like Avatar 3D. Yeah. It was massive.
They basically brought out 3D television so people could own Avatar on a 3D Blu-ray.
Exactly that. That was what started the whole thing. But anyway, we're going off on a...
But yeah, anyway, well, it's a little tangent, but yeah. Doctor Strange 2... I would happily watch it again. I think there's enough in it to entertain.
Part of me wants to go and see it in 3D, but I don't think they're doing it anymore.
No, I think it's entertaining. I think it's kooky, it's goofy. I'm so happy that Sam Raimi's back. The best of Sam Raimi's in here, the worst of Sam Raimi's in here, but the best and worst of Marvel's in here. So, take it as what it is. It's made me better appreciate No Way Home, because what they did with those characters and the angle of multiversal, they took characters established and they finished their story arcs, like Andrew Garfield, hinting about Tobey Maguire. So there's rumours that Sam Raimi has been approached by Sony to do Spider-Man 4 with Tobey. There's been rumours for a long time that Andrew has signed on for a 3rd Amazing Spider-Man, but he wants to get the story right. Yeah. Before going forward, because we all know those last Amazing Spider-Man films aren't liked. We kind of personally love them, think they're underrated, but they were rushed because it's a product at the end of the day. Yeah. And what I like about certain movies with certain auteurs and visions like Sam Raimi is they inflect themselves. Yeah. So 4 stars for Doctor Strange.
Yes.
In the Multiverse of Madness. We're looking forward to Avatar 2.
I'm more looking forward to Jurassic World Dominion.
I'm looking forward to that. I just really hope it don't shit the bed.
Me too.
Because
That will be the second birthday film that will have shit the bed, and I don't need that in my life.
And the last one was the Vin Diesel Fast 9, which is going through its own trials and tribulations, but it's a whole other conversation. Remember
To like,
share,
and subscribe to Articulate Wobbling YouTube channel.
Thank you.